As soon as I walked into the restaurant, I realized I wasn't late. I had been intentionally invited last. My parents' anniversary dinner was already over. The plates had been cleared, and only empty glasses and that particular silence remained. The kind that settles in after. The money has been spent, and everyone is waiting for one person to arrive. My mother looked at me with the same soft smile she always wears when something has already been decided. Lightly remarked that I was late, and then, as if it were a rehearsed joke, asked whether I wouldn't mind covering the bill. My sister laughed, no surprise, no embarrassed moment. I understood I hadn't come to celebrate, but to play an old role. My name is Diana. I'm 30 years old. And for most of my life, my family has summed me up in a single word: easy to agree. Easy to rely on, easy to use. It was never a compliment. It was a convenience. On paper, our family looked perfect, loving parents. A smiling younger sister. Happy photos, but real closeness isn't measured by how often you sit at the same table. It's measured by who's allowed to speak, ask, and take. From childhood, my sister took up all the space. Her wishes were law. Her moods the weather, and I was the one who kept things running by staying quiet. I was taught early that asking for less was a virtue. That being understanding was the highest praise. And when I wanted nothing, my mother would say proudly, "See, Diana understands." Over time, understanding became responsibility. And in my 20s, that responsibility turned into bills first, groceries, then utilities, then just this one trips that went over budget each time, called temporary. Each time quietly becoming permanent. I never fully explained my career. I didn't lie. I just didn't correct their assumptions, letting them underestimate me to keep the peace. Even as the requests kept growing. My parents loved celebrations, places where prices weren't listed, and somehow I was always invited after the decisions were made, after the reservations. Telling myself it was coincidence, while knowing deep down it was a system, fueled by my silence. That night, at the table, I saw my father leaning back, content. My mother's eyes fixed on the check folder. My sister scrolling her phone. They weren't waiting for me to eat. They were waiting for me to pay. For the first time, I asked myself what would happen if I didn't play along. I paid that night, not out of fear but for clarity. Then went home and opened the file. I'd avoided for years, payments, spread across time. Small amounts that together told a larger story, not generosity, but infrastructure everyone had built their lives on. 2 weeks later, the same invitation came. The same restaurant, the same certainty. The food arrived. The laughter followed. The bill came in on purse. I stood and said I wouldn't be paying. And the silence, dropped like the air, had been sucked from the table. My back. They